We're the story. Now, it's now over 1 month since the missiles from Iran and Lebanon began falling on Israel. Now, what impact is that having on the mental health of the home front, of Israelis having to run for shelters, to the shelters several times a day and in the middle of the night? Well, joining us for more on that is Dr. Cathy Lawi. She is a trauma expert here in Israel and CEO of Emotion Aid. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, let me just ask you the first basic question. What is this prolonged exposure to this threat day after day now for more than a month? What is it doing to the mental health of this country? And of course, it's going to be different depending on where you are in the country, what age you are, maybe what access you have for shelters, etc.
Look, because stress and trauma is something which accumulates with time, we cannot only start with what happened months ago, but we have to start from October 7th or, as I was hearing, your previous guest talking about, we've been going through wars and stress for a long time, but specifically since October 7th and for those of us also who are connected with the diaspora and what goes on in the world, with also the stress of what is happening in the countries we were born or the countries we used to call ours. So there's a lot of stress everywhere. The specific stress that we're experiencing these days are, I think the main symptom everybody's talking about is, of course, the unexpected, and a sense of disorientation. We don't know where we are. We don't know what day it is. Many people are experiencing a sense of fog, which is, of course, the fog of war, but also the fog of our specific war and what we're going through, going in and out of shelters, not sleeping through the night, having to deal with kids not going to school, our daily life being disturbed in a very deep way. So there's a lot of that. And at the same time, because, we are a people of paradox, we are holding the amazing paradox of being so resilient. I mean, I've had my grandchildren staying with me, and everybody goes to the shelter in the middle of the night as soon as the siren goes, and obediently, and still doing so after 1 month. And it's amazing. And people helping each other and all the creativity that takes place in the shelters. I mean, it's like, it's quite an amazing people we're a part of.
Right. So there you're talking about the communal reaction of Israelis, and that can help. But what about the individual? I mean, do you have any tips or tools you suggest to individuals, just how they can deal with the nerves that they're getting from the just daily tension of having to run to the shelters and be prepared to run to shelters? Yeah.
Look, that's the work we're doing. Individually, we need to try and keep our autonomic nervous system as stable as possible. So there are ways to do that. So would you like me to describe a few exercises to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good.
News you can use, please.
Okay, news you can use, absolutely. Okay, so the first thing we can do is we need to understand that our brain and nervous system are like a communication system, brain, nervous system. And sometimes we need to give it a reset. So when we are constantly under stress, that nervous system is going to need to be reset on a regular basis. The way to do that, and for example, you can do it easily in the shelter, is we have 5 simple steps we can do. The first one is you cross your arm in front of your chest and you're going to tap alternately right, left 25 times. And you repeat that. Okay. Now, if for some reason you cannot cross your arms, we can also tap with your feet or with your hands anywhere. So the idea is to have a bilateral stimulation movement that will restore the communication between the 2 hemispheres of the brain. The second exercise we can do is to just bring back our attention to our body. Our body is really very central in this whole situation. So we bring back our awareness to our body, for example, to our feet on the ground or our back on the chair or wherever we're sitting. And then we're going to scan the space, because what we want to do is to help reorient, because we lose that very quickly when there is a sense of danger. So we're going to look around the room and we're going to count. We're going to count textures, colors, or shapes. And we do that with 10 objects. So for example, I will count 10 objects now in the room in the color brown. So I look around and I count 10 brown objects. Then when I finish, I start from the other side, and now I'm going to count 10 objects with different textures. So, glass and iron and leather and whatever there is around me. So I will count the 10 different textures. That's step number 2. Step number 3, I'm going to put a hand on my chest and a hand on my belly. Okay. This helps me to bring back my attention to myself and to just, feel what's going on inside my body, and to this way, slowly restore, the communication between my body and my brain. Okay. So that is step number 3. Step number 4, I just connect to the situation and feel what's going on inside me. And whatever there is, whichever way my body is reacting, I will just, observe it without judging it, without criticizing it, because there's nothing to be afraid of. Our body basically knows what to do. And if we are, simply taking it in, it will restore its balance on its own. And finally, what is very, very important is to kind of count our blessings, and connect to resources, because whatever happens, we have resources. So for example, if we think of preparing this Passover Seder tomorrow in crazy circumstances, we have all kinds of challenges around that, but we also have the particular joy around the Seder, the fact that, we have our family, our loved ones